Good evening, everyone. Today I'm going to read you a passage from a Hank the Cowdog mystery. John R. Erickson is the author. Hank, the main character, is a self-appointed security guard for a ranch in West Texas. He takes his job seriously and is assisted by Drover, his sidekick. One of my favorite characters is Junior, a guitar-playing buzzard who has decided to become a vegetarian. Forrest and I enjoyed reading these books together years ago, and I hope you enjoy this brief reading. So we'll begin. Hank begins. I tiptoed into the kitchen. I was studying the layout of the room when all at once I caught an unusual scent. I had a hunch that it needed checking out. It just might prove to be the missing piece of the puzzle. I sniffed the air until I got my parameters and followed the scent through a door and out to the utility room. The scent grew stronger. I knew I was getting close. This was no ordinary scent. In my many years of security work, I had never encountered a smell quite like this one. I went to the center of the room and took another reading. With no conscious effort on my part, my nose turned 15 degrees to the left and stopped, then lowered it 7 degrees and stopped again. You might say that my nose had traced out invisible crosshairs and had found the target. I felt myself moving, propelled by an unknown and mysterious force. At times like this, I become a weapon, an instrument guided by secret powers that are known only to the top echelon of cowdogs. Experts have estimated that there are only 3 cowdogs in the entire world who have this kind of ability. And I guess I don't need to point out that I'm one of them. It's a real honor to be listed in the top 3. But as I've said many times before, greatness without grace is mere vanity. So a guy needs to work on his humility, even though he's been listed in the top 3. I crept forward. The scent grew stronger. It was indeed a remarkable smell. It wasn't a skunk. It wasn't a badger. It wasn't a coyote. And it wasn't a coon. But I had a suspicion that it belonged to an animal of some kind, perhaps a species I had never encountered before. And whatever it was, it had powerful musk glands. Up ahead, I saw 2 objects in a corner behind the back door. The room was dark, and I was relying pretty much on instruments. You might say, which means that I couldn't see very well. But as I drew closer, I began to get visual readings. These creatures were built in the shape of an L, a strange configuration to say the least. They had leathery skin and no hair. And unless my eyes deceived me, they had no legs. How they managed to walk with no legs, I don't know. But then it wasn't my job at that point to explain such things. But here's the real shocker. And you might want to get a good grip on your chair. They were headless. Yes, sir. No heads. Just long necks. I had no way of knowing whether they were hostile or friendly. And in my business, a guy learns not to take chances. We usually attack and ask questions later. I mean, you can always apologize if you've erred on the side of toughness, whereas a mistake in the other direction can lead to grave consequences. And I mean grave, as in shallow grave or unmarked grave. 3 feet away from the enemy, I stopped and took a final reading. The scent was very strong. It smelled bad. You might even say it was a stink. The creatures hadn't moved. They were just huddled there in the shadows, staring at me. I stared back. Never let an enemy stare you down. Show the slightest bit of weakness or indecision in your eyes, and they'll get you. It was time to attack. I coiled my legs under me and flew through the air, buried both of them under my weight, knocked them to the floor. They must have released their musk because I could hardly stand the smell. I fought and I slashed until I felt their bodies go limp. Then I stepped back, and I was a little surprised that there wasn't any blood on the floor. But what surprised me even more, I don't know how to say this. It was a simple case of mistaken identity. It could have happened to any dog, and remember that it was very dark on that back porch. What I'm driving at is that the creatures turned out to be an old smelly pair of high lopers cowboy boots. Why Sally Mae allowed them in her house, I don't know. But I can't take the blame for that. I mean, I was doing my job and never mind. You'd think that when a pair of boots got that old and rank, somebody would have thrown them away. Well, I'd wasted some valuable time. I had to get back to my investigation. I went into the kitchen. I was in the process of checking out the walls and conducting a search for the phone and calendar when I caught another scent, the kind that makes your mouth water. My ears shot up, my eyes got big, and I went to sniffing the floor, the cabinets, under the dining table, and the more I smelled, the better I liked it. It was driving me nuts. So, folks, if you want to find out more, read some of these books. This particular one is Hank the Cowdog. It's a Dog's Life. And Mr. Erickson wrote over 20 of these books, and they're just real fun. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.